All right, as we discussed yesterday in The Loop, you can now jailbreak your phone legally, but the EFF's court victory didn't just end there, and you're actually going to find out today what might be even more important to you.
The U.S. Copyright Office has been busy this week. They've been making major changes to the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which means they're allowing us to do a lot more with the technology and media we already own. One of the most astounding changes is that you can now break the copy protection on a DVD you legally own and use it for non-commercial purposes. This means if you want to grab a clip off a DVD you own and use it in your latest YouTube mashup masterpiece, go ahead. It's legal. This is yet another battle that the Electronic Frontier Foundation has won for the consumer. But the war isn't over. How does this law apply to video games or even ebooks? And will these loopholes stay open? Barely legal. It's The Loop.
All right, joining me from Los Angeles to help make sense of it all, editor for TechMeme.com, Rich DeMuro is here. Hello, Rich.
Hello, Kevin.
Welcome to the old show, sir. Video mashups on YouTube, those have been legal for a while, but actually getting the video onto your computer to chop up and remix, that was sort of questionable, right? I mean, it was sort of like, well, you have to break the protection to do this, so you're breaking the law even though the end result is legal?
Yeah, they didn't really want to know where you got that video from necessarily, but now you can actually take the video off the DVDs that you own and put it into these mashups. What they're saying is technically it's for commentary and criticism, and of course that can be interpreted in a million different ways. So basically anyone with a YouTube account at this point can do this.
And what about, well, first of all, everybody says, well, DVD, DVD, DVD. Does that only apply to DVDs? Does that extend to Blu-rays, or is it any physical medium? Can I rip a Netflix stream and then mash that up?
Yeah, that's interesting. You give people a little bit and they want the whole thing, you know? So, I mean, right now they're saying just DVDs. I've read through sort of the works. Seems like they're just pinpointing DVD technology at this point, saying you can actually break the copyright protection on that technology to, you know, to get these clips. They didn't specifically say Blu-ray. I don't think it applies to everything at this point, because that just opens up a huge can of worms.
But that almost sounds like too little too late now, Rich. It's like, oh, hey, you can make as many copies of Too Hot to Trot on Betamax. Go ahead, rip the hell out of it, but the format's kind of done. Do you think this will extend to Blu-ray or digital download soon, or we're going to have to wait 3 years?
Well, yeah, I mean, the digital downloads, that's a whole other can of worms. I think that's interesting because that's sort of where people are getting their videos now, and if we crack those, then they're easier to share. But I do think that if you had to argue it, you could probably say it applies to Blu-ray because it is a disc, but right now, as it stands, it seems like they imagined DVD, but I would say people are going to argue this to include pretty much any kind of physical media that you have these things on.
All right, so Rich, as long as I don't sign up for profit sharing on YouTube, I can rip a movie, post it, mash it up, do my own commentary on it, etc. That's now totally legal.
Yeah, again, this is not to take the entire DVD and share it with your friends. This is really to be able to use this to get a clip that you want to share in a movie, in a documentary, in a mashup that you're making to really to get a point across. So at this point, yeah, you can do that.
But, Rich, parents have always had that argument of, hey, look, I need to make a copy of this DVD because my kids are going to throw it around, use it as a coaster, it's going to get lost in the minivan, etc. Since it's not for profit, am I allowed to legally back up a DVD, or is that clearly skirting this rule?
Yeah, I think it seems like this rule is mainly for extracting clips from these DVDs. While we all want to be able to just back up our collection, do what we want with it, put it on our phones, put it on our computers, keep a nice backup copy in case, you know, you step on it, the disc breaks.
Right.
Right now, Hollywood does not want you to do that. In fact, Hollywood, for this rule with these clips, used to want you to just aim a video camera at the television, and that's how you got your clips.
Right.
So at this point, it's actually a pretty nice thing that we can get very high-quality clips, and that's really why they did this, so that college professors and filmmakers and documentary makers don't have to do that. They can actually get a very high-res copy of what they want to get across in their works.
All right, Rich, let me throw this one at you. What if I rip Vanilla Sky into 30-second clips over 3 million DVDs or something of that nature? Would it then be legal? Could I then just keep hot swapping DVDs to get through the entire film?
Yeah, I guess if you want to, you know, just get one of those like large DVD players that has like 200 discs.
Yeah, I'll get the 500 disc carousel and just let the movie ride. It'll take us an extra hour, and there'll be a lot of clunky robotic noises, but we'll get it done. Yes, we can.
That'd be fine.
Now, video games are also included in these exemptions, but in what situations can we use those? Obviously, we can't rip or back up games still, but what can we do with them?
Yeah, this seems even more limited than the DVD provision. This is basically saying you can just look into sort of the DRM that's on that game. So if you want to investigate it for like research and security purposes, that's pretty much it. They're not saying you can make copies of these games, backups. It's just saying more of like a educational research security kind of thing to look into what makes this security work on that game.
It's interesting that they went that far, but clearly not far enough. But ebooks, I know, were also included. Now they can be read aloud, right? I mean, there was an issue with e-readers. They couldn't read it because audiobook makers thought it was going to cut into their profits.
Yeah, I think this is the most interesting part of this whole thing is that Amazon, when the Kindle first came out, they had the text-to-speech function enabled for every book, and publishers said, no way, we don't want that enabled. So Amazon said, okay, we're going to take it back, and then they said, we'll do it on a case-by-case basis. So if you want your book enabled with this feature, we'll turn it on in the Kindle. Now, Amazon, through this law as it really reads, can pretty much turn on that feature tomorrow and say to the publishers, hey, you know what, we're covered. We have no liability here with this, and then they would have to probably fight that. I think they should do that immediately.
Agreed. I want to wake up tomorrow and have Stephen Hawking read me The Secret. That's a dream come true. How long do you think these exemptions are going to hold up, Rich? Is this something that's going to go away tomorrow, or are we solid for 3 years?
Absolutely not. I think we're solid. I think this reflects our changing society, changing times. Like you said, DVDs are sort of already on their way out. So, I mean, we're already going to be looking to sort of extend these rules into newer digital formats. So I think they're going to stick with us. I think it's going to be a good thing and reflect the changing society we have. Unless a huge lawsuit comes up, and then we'll see everyone back in court.
Come on, huge lawsuit from a major media corporation?
Never.
Not going to happen. Thanks to Rich DeMuro from TechMeme.com. Always a pleasure to have you here, Rich. Thanks for keeping us in the loop.
Now rip this segment.
No, don't. View this segment at g4tv.com/AOTS. Morgan.